Hey, good evening, hello, wherever you are in the world. Anyway, what we're gonna do is this video is create a stepper touch in Ventuz. So we're gonna try to create something like this. Hopefully it's a really short video, shouldn't be too complicated. So let's get started. Open up Ventuz, new scene, and what we want to do is grab an axis. So you can go to your geometry tab, grab a circle. Now the circle, I'm going to set the scale factor to 6, okay, and you'll see why in a second. It doesn't matter what value you set it to, if it's 5 or 5, you just have to remember what scale you set that to. For say for this I'll set it to 6. So, and what we want to do is add an interaction node so we can drag it around. So touch translation lets us move it around. Now we want to of course limit this to the x value of the x, so limit this and change the y to 0 and the max y to 0. So I chose the value 6 because my radius of the circle is 6, so because I only want it to travel by one circle. For example, if I duplicate this, you'll see it's only traveling by 1. So 6, if I change, for example, if this was 5, then you can see the distance it's traveling is not equal to the space, the actual, graphic. But anyway, I'll set this back to 6. So just keep that in mind. So if you say, for example, that's 5, then change this to maybe 5 by minus 5 to 5, for example. Anyway, not a big issue. It's just keep that in mind. Okay, so I want to set a few settings on here. So go edit the behavior. I'm going to change my tick space to 6. Now I want this to reset every time I hit this end here. So what I could do is just get a linear node. I'm going to take 1 and take the x value to the 1. So now this value is always going to reach. This is always going to fire when it's reached. I'm going to change this to say 0.2. We can play around with this, or 0.3. Let's say 0.3 for now, or 0.4. Let's do 0.4. Okay, and I want this reset, which is really slow now, to change to 0.2. So it's really quick, and just drop the reset on that linear node. Now it's resetting. So I've reached that side, I've dragged it to the left or right, and it resets back. Okay, so that's kind of, we've done that really easily, just using a linear node and the same reset. You could edit the behaviors, like and have a tick space and change the traction, but I want this, like really locks to send that value. It locks, sends the value and then resets back. Okay, so that's done. Now we need an integer expression, and we're gonna need 2 of these, but we can just we can edit 1 for now, and then we can just copy and paste. So edit the expression. So really basic expressions. So brackets a equal b else 1 or 0. So if a is equal to b, then give us a 1. If not, it's a 0. So right now it's a 0 because it's the other way around, so they're equal right now. But if there you go, 1. If they're not, then we get a 0. Cool. So our a value, so what I'm going to say is copy this, so have duplicate, so copy and paste. I can close the text editor, so because we can focus on. So now on my left side, well, I want to say, well, the left side is -6, right? So this integer will be looking for -6. So I'll just name this -6 and this 6, so I know which one's which side's which. Okay, I'm going to say, well, it doesn't matter which one we use. Actually, we'll say b. We'll use b value. We'll lock the b and then a. So shift select these two, so you have them selected. Take the a value, take it to touch translation node, and we're getting the input from my x. So this x now, you'll see as we drag the value, you'll see here you're getting this. I just kind of didn't lock there, but that's fine. Alright, so now that value of A is changing, and what we want to do is say, okay, if A and B is the same, so if B we have to set to say -6 because we're looking for -6 on this expression, and B, this one, we're saying 6. Okay, so now when it finds that result 6, that will fire 1, and it goes back to 0, which is what we want. Really simple. Now we're going to go to our interaction node. We're going to get an event, and we can copy and paste this. Copy, paste, Control C, Control V. And I'm going to take the shot and link it to my expression, and the shot and link it to expression. So now these will fire every time it sees that value. So as you can see, bam, fired. Okay, so you can put this here, and you can put this lock here. You can make it, you can tidy up how you want. And now I want a counter, so I'll grab a counter from the logic tab, counter, or you can hit spacebar, counter, type it in, shortcut. And really simple. I'm gonna go from -9 to 9, and this is backwards and this is forwards. So now you can see our value here starts at 0, and as I drag, going minus, if I drag to the right, we're going up, counting forward. So now we've got this counter, we can output this value onto our graphic, so we can create a graphic for this as well. So let's get an axis, and we want to parent it, so you could parent it underneath. Let's get text, 2D text, block text. Let's give it a color, so go to color tab, color solid, okay, and we'll go for like a gray color. You can change the font if you want, you know, you want to change the font, you can do that. For example, just click on the font as well, change the text alignment to center, text alignment to center, and line alignment to center. You can also change the, if you go extended layout, change this monospace to digits only because we're working with values. And you can scale this up, you can make this nice and big, yeah, make that fit the space, and then you can call this counter if you want. Now if you shift select this with your interaction node, touch interaction, it will bring the font in into your content window, so you have both. And what we want to do is take the output of our counter, so I'm going to bring this down here and say, well, this counter is feeding this text. Alright, so we'll take the text and we'll say, there we go, 0, -1, -2, -3, and so on, you know. And you could probably turn loop on, but I'll turn loop off so you can go one way and the other way. And let's scale this down, make it look a bit better. And maybe you want to choose a nicer font. Right now I just went for that code font, but you could go for default or headline. You can choose your own font. We've covered fonts in the past, but yeah, you can browse. And yeah, you can pull one in from a project if you have one in a project, for example. Let's see what we got. I'm just looking at the numbers here on the right. I kind of like this one, this freshman one. So that, there you go. But there you go. But there we go. We've got a stepper. Now to finish off the graphic, really simple. Let's add layers. Let's go into layers. Let's just add the little graphic elements in here. So new 2D layer. You can do gradient or color. I'll just do color as a background color. You could choose whatever color you want. So they had like a kind of purpley, blue purpley. I don't know something like this. Go back into my layer. Let's add that little plate. I'm going to duplicate this circle for now, just as a reference. We can delete this after. I'm just going to push this to the side. So if I say 6, then I know how long my rounded rectangle will be. So I'm going to grab an axis, stick it to the top of my tree. Go to geometry, rounded rectangle, scale this up. You can actually scale it to 6 as well, so you get the same height as the circle. Go on the rounded rectangle node, change the round size. Now you've got a circle that matches the same circle, but change the X size. There you go. In theory, it should just be able to say 3, and then there you go. So we can get rid of our reference, this reference that I duplicated. Now the circle's hidden, of course, but what we can do is add a solid color onto our rounded rectangle. Also add a solid color on your circle. Then you might as well give that a solid color. There you go. Now on this one, just change the opacity, bring it down. Bring it down. There you go. Bam. -1, 0, 1, 2. It's counting up. If I take it the other way, it'll count back down. And if we take a look, you can see here they just have a plus and minus symbol. They've also masked it, so you could, if you wanted, you could mask that. So you could bring that in and mask that. So if you don't want it right now, it's locked to this, but you're not limited to that. This is just graphics now, that a graphic look rather than a thing. What we can also do is make this darker. So this was, I believe, it's darker like this. And we're gonna get an axis, another axis. I'll bring this to the front. Some text, 2D text, block text. I'll change this to edit, into project. I'll do. Actually, I'm not a fan of the freshman now after looking at it for a while, so I'm gonna switch to something else. Maybe this 350. No. Okay, so we got this font here, and I'm going to just change center and center. Okay, I'm going to put a minus value here. Now these are just graphics, so this could be the minus, and scale this up. As you can see, just place this here. Okay, so you just got minus, and you can add a solid color, and you can grey it out or whatever you want. There you go, and move this forward into space so it doesn't clash with the graphics behind. Okay, duplicate this. I'm going to just change this to the plus symbol, edit the text. Hopefully I've not gone too fast. It's a short video, hopefully I'm hoping it's a short video. I'll just position this. Now, for some reason it looks squished. It just must be the font. It must be just the font I've chosen, to be honest. Let me just go to default. Yeah, so I'll just go to default. Yeah, there we go. What we could do is actually just have one material, get rid of that. So there you go. Now we can control one color. So if you want, it saves you from doing each one. You just do one. Change the opacity on that. There you go. Let's reset those Y values. There we go. For some reason that looks lower down, so I'm just gonna just move it, just to make it look until you're happy with it. I'll change this font back to the default font. There you go. Well, maybe headline. Headline looks alright. And I'll just position that. Now, have I moved anything by accident? No. Okay, so that looks about right to me. Anyway, minus and now actually what you could do is push this behind. Push this in this axis maybe. Actually no, don't put it in that axis. we want this to go over the top, so maybe put another axis on here. Just move this forward. So now it's covering the minus and the plus. Cool. So if you wanted to create the mask, for example, you could just copy this one here, and go stencil. I always get these muddled up. Test and set. We can swap them around. Let's say set. Put that under the set. Let's say layer 1, layer 1, and let's just flip those around. Maybe it's, there we go. So here's the wrong way around. So let's grab that, put this test there, and bring the test up here, and parent this under there, and there we go. Now I want to invert that. Bam. Cool. So this is my mask. If I bring this in out, so I should say, just hold it to the right. If I bring this, now I can mask that to disappear off the screen, and then of course match that so that it doesn't show you fully. There you go. So you got that where it's kind of masked off look. It's masked off here. You can see they've got like a slight drop shadow. You can go in and add all these extra textures yourself, and if you find a nice font, like digital font like that, you know, for the text, that'll be cool. But yeah, hopefully this was some use. I don't know. You can parent all of this together under one axis if you want to move it around on the screen, you know. -2, -3, -4. Play around with the text, I'll say, because that text, I'm not happy with that text, but you could play around, choose a font that will work. Actually, that's a bit more. Yeah, there you go. We count up, we count down. There you go. Thank you again. Hopefully it was some use. It wasn't too complicated. We did a tiny basic expression. We used some maths effects like the linear node. We used the counter. We used the vents. We used the interaction tab. We used some masks. You know, really simple stuff. Nothing too complicated. Hopefully. There you go. Enjoy the rest of your evening, morning, day or night. Hopefully this was useful. Hit that like, share, subscribe, and enjoy your evening, morning or day, or whatever time it is for you. Bye bye.